Hello Virgo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future. Answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate, if anything, and leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Virgo. Let's jump on in here and see what you guys have been dealing with. This is looking at Virgo's recent past. Recent past for Virgo. Support and shadow work. I feel like you've been in this period of maybe doing quite a bit of work on yourself. Now, this support is interesting because I feel like this is talking, like, yes, you obviously have support in like the material world, but I feel like this is also kind of talking about your spiritual team, like the support of your spiritual team as well, because I feel like I may be speaking to a Virgo that's been doing a lot of healing, maybe even literally a lot of shadow work, doing a lot of the things that you need to when it comes to like growth and, evolving. And I like this because I feel like this is only going to lead you to good things. I also feel at the same time that something led you to this. I feel like something happened that kind of led you into this energy here. So where is Virgo at now? What does Virgo need to know about their current energy? You've cut your losses, transformation, love, releasing, and protection. Okay. So here I feel is what is happening. It's like you've done a lot of work on yourself. I feel like you've grown, you've evolved, and I feel like you've changed a lot. And I feel like you're dealing with like maybe people and situations that don't really align with this new version of you. It's like you've gone through this transformation, and maybe you started experiencing, or maybe are experiencing, quite a bit of loss, maybe in terms of relationships or in terms of paths in general. And I feel like you're kind of stepping into like a new vibration, almost like a higher vibration in your life. But what that kind of requires is, cutting ties or losing people or situations that aren't growing with you. I think that's the hardest thing about growth and a spiritual growth journey in general, is like not everybody wants to improve. Like not everybody wants to work on themselves. Some people are okay with the complacency. And as we grow and as we evolve, we have to recognize that not everybody or everything can come with us. And so I feel like it's like confirmation that you're really on the right path here and like have been doing a lot of the right things, even if you feel as if, because sometimes it feels like our life is getting worse before it starts to get better. So even if it feels like things are getting worse, maybe there's some loss, maybe there is some, just really uncomfortable grief that's kind of coming with that. I think that a lot of the time too, we can even recognize like maybe, okay, this situation isn't what's best for me, or this person isn't what's best for me anymore, but it doesn't mean that we're not still going to grieve it. It doesn't mean that it's not still a difficult thing. But I do feel like you need to know, especially seeing the support and then protection here, like I feel like you are so divinely guided and so divinely protected. I feel like I'm speaking to someone who has been doing a lot of healing for sure. And that, I don't know, again, it's just kind of like this confirmation that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path. What does Virgo need to know moving forward? Where is all of this going to lead? Immediate future for Virgo here. protection. You have stay in integrity and mystery. The future is a mystery right now. I think that that's always the hardest part of growth. Stepping out, well, one of the hardest parts, I think there's a lot of difficult things about growth, but it's absolutely always worth it, is when we kind of are letting go of things that don't serve us anymore, the future becomes really unknown. There's a lot that we can't predict, a lot that's out of our control, and that can become really scary because our ego, which we all have one, and it's not to be demonized, your ego's primary goal is to keep you alive, but your ego desires control, it desires predictability. So before we heal, before we work on our conscious awareness, before we start to make better decisions for ourselves and our life, we tend to kind of allow our ego to make decisions for us. So sometimes our ego will actually keep us in familiar hells, chaos, or just places and situations that don't really align with your worth, because it knows exactly how to survive it. So when we're stepping out of our comfort zone to create a better life or create better relationships for ourselves, there's so much that we start to kind of fear, because it's like, well, it's unknown territory, right? You're like, oh, I've never been here before. I've never, stepped foot in this direction before, but it's a good thing. And I feel like this protection card, seeing it again, is like you do have divine protection. You are very divinely supported. This stay in integrity card, I feel like, is making sure that you continue to align with your truth, continuing to show up as the person that you desire to be, someone who is very honest and very just like I said, aligned with your truth in a way. Like, I feel like that could be taken in so many different ways. But I ultimately feel like this future energy is, the future, if there's anything that's going to be predictable, it's that the future is always going to be unpredictable. There's always going to be things that you can't control. There's always going to be aspects of the unknown, and our peace with kind of letting go of that need for control of the future comes with a direct correlation to how much we trust that the universe is supporting us. So the more that we dive into that belief that we are very supported, that we are very guided, even if we can't really see it or feel it or experience it at this exact moment, like, it's there, and we will see how we are supported, guided, and just in general, like, loved as we continue to move forward. So I feel like the future feels like a mystery, but you need to know that your path is very protected. I do feel like this is a very big transformative period for you. I don't know, this is the second reading I've done this round that has been really talking about transformation. I don't know if it's just kind of something that everyone is going through right now, just kind of letting go of old, stepping into the new. I think that it's a kind of just a powerful time in general here. But let's see. Overall theme of this reading for you, Virgo. Overall theme of this reading for Virgo. And something might have started this. I feel like there might have been a catalyst here. But I don't know yet. Overall theme of this reading for Virgo. Growth. Shadow. Literally. Wow. And then guides. We talked about someone who's been doing a lot of work on themselves, right? A lot of maybe literal shadow work. I don't know. I feel like this is just a huge period of growth for you, Virgo. And I feel like it's pushing your life kind of to new heights, but that's almost like freaking you out a little bit. I think that when we are used to experiencing lack in a lot of ways, the idea that things are getting better can almost be equally as scary as things getting worse, because we're like, well, what if I mess this up? Or what if it's too good to be true? Or what if I get hurt? Or, what if I fail? Or whatever the case is. But I feel like everything that you've kind of been through has like been setting you up for a lot of good things to take place in your life. And now it kind of just feels like letting those good things happen. I know for me, like, when my life started changing for the better, it was actually kind of crazy, because that's when I started having like more anxiety issues. Was I had all of this anxiety about how things were getting good because it was like I didn't know how to trust that they were going to stay, or that it wasn't going to be like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I realized that I had spent so much of my life kind of expecting things to go wrong and experiencing things going wrong, but I had done so much work on myself, and I was a different person, so I was making healthier decisions, and I was, choosing what was right for me as opposed to kind of like falling back into old patterns. So things were happening for the better because I had been doing the work to create better in my life. And so I had to remind myself, I'm a different person now. I'm making different decisions. It's not going to be like it used to because I'm not who I used to be. So I feel like you are kind of stepping in, like I said, to like a higher vibrational energy here. And it's because of this like growth you've been doing, this work that you've been doing on yourself here. So whatever, you've been doing, I feel like is definitely working, and you should give yourself a lot of credit because growth is certainly not easy. It's a hell of a lot easier to stay the same than it is to grow. All right, Virgo, let's take a look at this past energy because, like I said, I feel like there's a catalyst. I feel like something pushed you into this period. What does Virgo need to know about this past energy here? Past energy for Virgo. Okay, Queen of Cups in reverse. 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups. A lot of disappointment and a lot of chaos. There's the 10 of Cups, and then there's the 9 of Wands in reverse. Okay. See, I like this for you because I feel like this is somebody kind of getting to this point of realizing that maybe things need to change in their life. Maybe you got to a certain point in a relationship, or I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of disappointment in this energy because I don't think things played out the way that you expected in some sort of situation. I think that something definitely went a very different way, and maybe a very painful way than what it is that you expected. But I feel like however things played out, it pushed you to grow in a lot of ways. And I think that can always be the way that we transmute, negative things that happen to us into positive experiences, is there's always a way we can grow, or we can heal, or we can evolve. And as we change, as we grow and we heal and we evolve, we can be sure that our outer environment is going to reflect that. The spiritual saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. As we change, as we grow, as we evolve, our life evolves along with it. So I do feel like you went through something pretty painful and pretty difficult here that pushed you into this growth period. And I feel like maybe even the growth period itself has been difficult. Growth within itself is uncomfortable, and uncomfortable feelings are, what a lot of people spend a lot of their life avoiding. So if you're someone who's been like really trying to face those things, to work through their emotions, to process, whatever it is that you're going through, because the 5 of Cups can definitely represent grief. Maybe grief of a relationship or a career path, or maybe even grief of a person that you used to be. I think that's one thing they don't tell you about growth, is it does come with a lot of grief, because, I remember when I kind of first started awakening to kind of newer truths and going through this, I was like, man, I wish I didn't know any of this, because ignorance is bliss, for real. It is so much easier to just stay in an illusion and just not having to face anything, but it creates more suffering in the long term. So I'm not, growth is always worth it. It's always leads you to better. But I think that when you go through things that kind of pushes you to be a better version of you. Sometimes it's like, well, why do I have to go through all of this when other people aren't changing? But that's where kind of the beauty of it comes from, is your growth is going to lead you to better experiences. You know, people who stay the same are always going to experience the same level of happiness, of abundance, of peace. Like if you don't change yourself inside, like your outer world isn't going to change. So something definitely pushed you into some sort of like inner work here, but I feel like it's all transforming your inner world so that your outer world can kind of meet you there. So that's why I said like you're kind of raising to a higher vibration. So maybe, you know, energetically you're kind of evolving, which means that there are going to be things that you're going to have to let go of, which is not fun or easy. And honestly, a lot of times it doesn't even really seem that fair. Letting go of things that, you know, that essentially aren't growing that can't come with you. You know, when you step into a new version of yourself, there are going to be people and situations that just don't align with that anymore. And it's really, really hard. But look at that with the Fool. It's like you're stepping into this brand new beginning and you have a lot to be excited about. Like the future is unknown, but I feel like it's not bad. It's just the unknown is really scary. All right, so where does Virgo need to know about where they're currently at? Transformation with releasing. Current energy for Virgo. King of Cups. So we have the Queen of Cups in reverse, and now you have the King of Cups. Oh. 1 second. The Four of Cups here. You know, the King of Cups is someone who's very emotionally intelligent, emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent. Then you have the King of Wands. Very passionate, very action-oriented. Then you have this Ten of Pentacles. Okay, this is going to sound really cheesy, Virgo. But I feel like you're in a period of your life of like finding yourself in some way. I feel like, and maybe you haven't realized it, okay? So maybe that's what this period is about, but okay, there's nothing else there. It's almost like you're in this energy of, it's like if you pretend to be someone you're not, the situations that you attract aren't going to align with who you really are, right? Now, sometimes we kind of put on a mask and we show up as we think that we need to for other people, whether it's in our relationships or our job or just our life in general, our family. And we show up as other people because that's what we've been taught, like, keeps us safe. You know, we hide who we really are. We hide our needs. We hide, certain parts of ourselves, and we focus on being what we think we need to be in order to stay safe. It's very much a learned behavior that typically starts in childhood. But as we go through a growth journey, and one of the number one things that people misunderstand about a growth and a spiritual journey is it's not about becoming anything, okay? You're not becoming someone new. You're not becoming who you really are. You are actually unlearning all of the protective patterns that have kept you from being able to be your most vulnerable, most authentic, most genuine self. And it's almost as if there's a part of you that has spent a lot of your life kind of covering up who you really are. Maybe shame for who you really are, or feeling like who you really are isn't good enough, or again, maybe feeling like you needed to be someone else in order to be successful in your relationships or your career. And I feel like you're really good at adapting. I feel like maybe you're really good at being who you need to be for whoever you're around. But I feel like maybe there's a part of you that doesn't realize that you don't need to be anybody else. Like you don't need to be a version of yourself with this group of friends, and a version of yourself with your family, and a version of yourself at work. Like you should be able to live a life where you can be 100% yourself and you are accepted and, rewarded for that. Like you don't need to be more than you are. So, yes, I feel, okay, growth is important, okay? Growing and becoming better and stepping into a better version of yourself is important. But growth isn't about becoming someone that is deserving. Growth and healing is about realizing that you've always been deserving. So, it's important not to try to work so hard on being better and to work more on loving and accepting yourself as you truly are. Because as you do that, you're going to start to recognize that all of the things that all of the protective patterns or the unhealthy patterns or whatever the case might be for you, all of the ways that maybe you've made mistakes or that decisions that you've made haven't really aligned with you. It was because a part of you was trying to make decisions from this place of, this is going to make me safe. This is going to make me happy. This is going to make me loved or whatever the case is. But when you already feel safe, happy, and loved for who you really are, you stop doing things to be safe, happy, and loved, and you start doing things to continue to be safe, happy, and loved. So what I mean by that is instead of getting into relationships, to try to attract love or get into a place of being loved, you recognize that you are already loved. So you're not going to settle for anyone who doesn't love you to the extent that you love yourself. Or the same kind of thing can go for your career. Like instead of burning yourself out to try to be financially stable, you're going to be able to find a path that you are passionate about, that you enjoy, and that compensates you appropriately without you having to, burn yourself out or be miserable. And I think that what this period of your life is really about is it's not, I talked about like kind of finding yourself. It's almost like you need to let go of this idea that you need to be anything more than you are right now to be loved, to be abundant, to experience good things. Like you are, as you are right now, like good enough almost. And I feel like there's a part of you that has maybe worn different masks or has tried to feel like this constant growth and constant work on yourself like is eventually going to get you to where you want to be, but it's almost like you've taken it too far a little bit. And it happens a lot. And instead of trying to be more or be better, understand that you as you are right now deserves to be happy. So your decisions don't have to be from this place of what can I do to be more. Your decisions should come from this place of how can I make sure that I'm protecting my peace and my happiness right now in this moment, because that's what I deserve as I am. And that's how you heal. It's healing isn't necessarily about becoming better. It's about, loving and accepting yourself as you are right now. That's what's going to create the life that you truly deserve, is when you find that abundance within you. So there might be a part of you that's looking for abundance outside of yourself or trying to change, heal, or grow to try to get, an outside outcome in some way, to get to that relationship, to get to this certain financial status. That isn't what is actually going to make you happy. In fact, if you get there and you still don't feel the way that you desire to feel, it's because there's a part of you that believes you're not good enough inherently within. So that's what we're working on. We're not working on becoming better. We're working on loving ourselves exactly as we are right now. I hope that makes sense, because that was kind of a complicated one to have to experience or have to put into words, and to experience. But I do feel like that everything that you're going through is trying to lead you ultimately to like not settling for anything less than what you deserve, but also recognizing that I guess I could have just summed it up in this way, but also recognizing that you don't need to be anything more than you are in order to be deserving of what you desire. I hope that makes sense. Okay, what does Virgo need to know moving forward? Protection with mystery. Because you're stepping into unknown territory, right? You're changing, you're evolving, and it's scary because you don't know what's ahead of you. But I feel like it's good. I feel like it's a lot of good stuff. What can Virgo expect moving forward should they choose to move forward in alignment with their higher self? Healing is a lifelong journey, and you're never going to heal to perfection. And if you focus on the day that you finally become perfect enough to then be deserving of love or financial abundance or happiness or whatever the case is, you're going to be spending your entire life on that pursuit. So that pursuit, instead of looking for it outside of yourself, it's got to come from within. It's got to be this decision of saying, instead of trying to be someone who's deserving of being happy, I'm going to start making decisions that create that happiness today. That's where we start to make decisions that really align with us and the life that we desire. I mean, in your immediate future, you have the Sun, you have the Nine of Cups. So this is kind of like, to me, the Nine of Cups is like wish fulfillment that really aligns with you, with your heart. And then the Sun card, obviously talking about fulfillment. Here's the Chariot. So, this is about aligning more and more with your higher self, right? And as you do that, it's only going to lead to good things. And that's the path that you're on right now. Like, you can, Virgo, and should expect good things. It's hard because I think that, we have a tendency to hold our present self accountable for things that our past self did. But if you have changed your behavior, if you've worked on making better decisions or, doing things that align with you better, like, your outcomes are going to be different and you are allowed to expect that good things are going to happen to you. I just think that sometimes we get so used to disappointment that we're afraid to expect good things because we think that we want to prepare ourselves for disappointment, but you're different now, Virgo. You have changed. You have transformed. Your decisions are different. Your boundaries are different. Your standards are different because of, what you've kind of been through. So that means the outcomes are going to be different. That means your future is going to be different than your past. It's filled with possibility and light and a lot of things you have a lot to be excited about. I feel like that's what this is about. If you have been focusing on doing the inner work, you have a lot to be excited about. And the more that you continue to focus on what is within your control, which is loving and accepting yourself as you are right now, but also continuing to try to show up as your best self, that's where the magic happens. That's what manifestation is all about. So I don't know. I feel like I'm speaking to a Virgo that needs to be a hell of a lot nicer to themselves. I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe letting go of that self-criticism, letting go of this need to be perfect or this idea that you're eventually going to get to a place where you're perfect, because you're not. You're never going to. You're not supposed to be. That defeats the entire purpose. But also understand that, you've been through, I feel like you've been through a lot and you've grown a lot through those things, and that growth, you should get to expect to experience rewards from that, because I feel like that's absolutely what this is talking about. I think that sometimes, again, we get caught up on being so self-critical, and we think that we need to be perfect in order to experience good things, but you don't need to be perfect in order to experience good things. You need to do the best that you can with the information and the tools that you have, but also understand that you're doing the best you can, and you need to love and accept yourself for where you're at. Because if you're focusing so much on trying to be perfect, your future self that you desire to be is always going to be in the future, because you're never going to get there. I hope this makes sense. This is such a complicated message. But anyway, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into this and provide some clarity and also some tangible advice on what you can do right now to move forward in alignment with your higher self. And then I have an advice card to pull from your spiritual team at the very end. Thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Virgo, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Virgo.